Good morning, or it's morning for me anyway, as I record this onto my YouTube channel. I'm glad you've come to join me for once again, one more reflection. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I want to make reference to, rather than a lectionary reading, a series of readings from the Sermon on the Mount in the Gospel of Matthew. The interesting thing about it is in the sermon, Jesus pulls together, or the writer pulls together, various things that were said that were common sayings of understanding. Do not store up your treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume, where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourself treasures in heaven. The eye is the lamp of the body, so if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. No one can serve two masters, for a slave will either hate one and love the other, or be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and wealth. Do not judge, so you may not be judged. Do not give what is holy to dogs, but do not throw your pearls before swine, for they will trample them underfoot and turn and maul you. Ask, and it will be given to you. Search, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened. In everything, do to others as you would have them do to you. This is the law and the prophets. And it goes on in the Sermon on the Mount. And what those sayings are pithy little common known statements of wisdom coming from the wisdom tradition. The wisdom tradition is found throughout the biblical text in various forms, and is most prominently displayed in the Proverbs, where you have all these little sayings, common sayings that everyone knows. Jesus, or the gospel writer, uses them here to make the point about what was being taught. But we have those too in our modern lives. There's lots of things that we say and do and know, just that we understand. Not like the ones my grandmother taught me, where it said if you drop a utensil on the floor, you have to throw salt over your shoulder. I mean, there's all those sorts of sayings too, the little superstitious, funny little habits. But we do have common sayings. And one of them is, if you want kindness, you give kindness. Caring for others is an expectation. There's a certain basic decency that we all know about. Things that are biblical come to us and get translated into our modern world. You open the door for someone if they're right behind you. You say thank you and please. There's things that we do that is just understood, the common wisdom and understanding in the world. Some of them are simple, like watch pot never boils. You can't just sit by the stove and watch for the stove. It's not going to cook any faster. And we use those sayings to make a point. Now, where I wanted to go is this idea about common decency, because this is the day after the presidential debate. And what we saw there, and I'm not going to name names, I don't need to, you know what I'm talking about. The way interrupting, making disparaging comments about other people's children, outright lying. It just lacked common decency. There's that word again, common wisdom. I think in this time of the pandemic, I could give you elaborate theological explanations and all, and on other reflections I've gone there a little bit, challenging you or offering you spiritual guidance in the process to understand what's going on. But when it really comes down to what will save the world, it's just common decency, common wisdom. The type that Jesus would say, no, don't hate your enemy, love your enemy. In fact, pray for your enemy. Look, if someone gets something violent, like slap you in the face, you turn the other cheek. You don't look for retribution. You don't look to cause more anger and violence in the world. It's not necessarily easy, but it's just common knowledge. We know it. Not always easy because sometimes we just want to react. It's so satisfying to be angry. So satisfying to look at that debate last night and be sanctimonious and judgmental about the behavior of the one candidate. But it gains nothing. It changes nothing for you except that gives you an anger, a stirring up in your soul. And let it go. Talked about that before. Let it go. But live your life with that common decency of kindness for others. This is what will save the world and make a difference. If it's for someone in your family, kindness to your grandchildren, your children, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, kindness to your neighbor, kindness to the stranger. These acts of common decency, of kindness, are what will get us through this and what will change the world. I would like to give you some sort of piece of wisdom that would answer all your concerns and just make it all better. Isn't that what we desperately want to do for our children? Just make it better for our friends? But in the end, it's not something fancy. It's just something simple. Just a calm offer of kindness. And that's what will make the difference. And this is deep, common wisdom. So friends, as you journey through the world in the coming days, weeks, months, remember that wisdom. Kindness heals the world. Let it be so. And be the starter of that kindness in your life. God be with you. God bless you. The wisdom of Christ and the power and the grace of God's Spirit be with you as you seek to heal the world through your own simple kindness. Amen.